Welcome, welcome, welcome. Liberal 12th man here. And I am going to be doing a review and a little match reaction to the game. And I appreciate everyone that's tuning in. Loyal Reds always. I always definitely enjoy the honor of being able to present what I looked at as being the 12th man, as seeing this game. This game that wasn't a lovely game for any match or for any matter of the word, and also is something of, I guess you could say it was something of I wouldn't say snore fest, but it certainly was one side playing football and the other side determined to do their anti-football presentation, I guess you could say. So I really broke down. This is how much I love this game, and that I watched this game, especially considering some of the feedback and kind of like pushback that I got on some of the other shows that I was a part of, and also some of the other shows that I just ended up watching. Might have been in the chat, or might have just watched over. And I watched a lot of I watched a lot of presentations from content creators all over across the bill. So yeah, so this one I definitely have a lot of insight on what really people kind of gauged the game as to be, and also I would say I have my own opinion, which is certainly I'm not going to hold any back. I am definitely a Liverpool biased opinion, but all the same. Big up to Brian Morrissey, always someone that supports this channel, supports multiple channels as well as a proper red. I don't think there's any. I unlike some people don't find it anything negative to say when you say proper red, or even if you say top red. I know that that's used as a negative, but I say proper red in that he supports Reds. He supports me. He supports Quasi. He supports Beijing Reds TV. He supports obviously Sideline Football Show, which he's now a part of. Great guy, and someone that I enjoy, even though we do sometimes not see eye to eye. I still enjoy the dialogue and everything that we go back and forth with. It brings up sometimes it can be some really entertaining must-see TV, if you call it that. So big up to Bart Ryan. Big up to anyone that tunes in later and happens to check this on the replay. Please do leave a comment. Be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can know when it's on, and that way you don't have to watch it on the replay. But if your schedule doesn't allow for you to do so, I understand completely. Frontline infantry, brother, for sure. Always appreciate that. Always appreciate that. He is definitely a loyal and proper red in my mind, and I do really have gratitude towards those types of people that show love and continue to help move the movement. So yeah, so I'm sure there's going to be, if hopefully he sticks around for this one too, because I'm sure I'm going to get into some of the things that we want head to head against in other broadcasts. And also I'm just going to kind of give a little bit more insight, a little bit more of my take as to why I have these particular feelings for so. So let's just get right into it. I'm going to bring up the presentation board here so we can all enjoy this. Okay, so there was a quote that was out there that went as far as, let me bring down this so you can stop seeing Diaz on my hat. There was a quote by Sean Dyche that came out. He said, "I would like to think fair-minded people here today would be stunned that it wasn't a second yellow." That's what Sean Dyche had to say. And that was regarding, obviously, one of the biggest, I won't say possibly one of the biggest controversies of the game. Okay. He said the fact that Konate wasn't promptly, or the fact that Konate was promptly withdrawn for Joel Matip was his way of saying that Klopp knew it should have been a yellow, and that's why he's taking him off. I'm like, that's a stretch for any matter of the word, a stretch. Okay, because that would have been our 5th red card of the season, which is incredibly amazing for a team that's often the fair play team of the year. But it would have been it was more so, I think, albeit Klopp should have probably taken off Konate at halftime. And that way you would have never had the breakdown. You would never had the situation to even be a question mark in the game. Because once they did go down to 10 men, it was basically defense and only defense. They were only hoping that we would make some stupid mistake by giving them a free kick where they could score off of some set piece. But other than that, there was nothing that they created, nothing that they presented that was ever a threat in this game. If you like myself, I had to wake up 4 a.m. for this game, and just to watch it. Okay, shows devotion, and it really does show devotion for a club. But 4 a.m. I had to wake up to watch this game, to get ready, even though it was a 4:30. Ended up being 4:30 was the kickoff. Obviously, you have to wake up, get the sleep out of your eyes, and maybe hopefully get a breakfast in you or something in your stomach. And I would say if you missed the first minute of the game, you would have missed the only opportunity Everton had of scoring. That's how crazy this game was. Is that was the lone opportunity that you would have missed for this game. Make sure get all my hair in my hat here. But you would have missed that opportunity because that's the only opportunity they had. First minute of the game, and it was an easy save because it's basically a header right into the waiting arms of Alisson. And simply said, after that, it was pretty much smooth sailing for the defense. Whereas it's smooth sailing for Alisson, for instance. But, the defense really played well, I thought. I thought the defense played extremely well. I personally would have started Matip. I've said this in my earlier presentation or my preview, and that's because I would have liked to see Matip. I think he's a little bit more of a veteran presence on the pitch, so therefore he plays different. He's not as physical and as aggressive as Konate is, but that's cool. That's certainly cool. But yeah, there were some really, really good moments of this game. I thought I picked out some of the better moments of the game, and yes, and this is something I'm going to star your comment, Brian, because your comment that you just left in the chat is so spot on. It's something that I definitely was going to address in my presentation here. But I thought there were some really good moments. I thought that moments that if you don't watch the game, possibly maybe over 2, 3, sometimes 2, 3, maybe even 4 times. I've watched this game now, I think 5 times. Sometimes I don't have much to do, apparently, but I watched this game 5 times at least. So the 34th minute, great shot by Maka. McAllister had a great shot from outside the box, low ranging shot, very, very similar, I guess you could say, to Thiago's goal that he scored. In the trajectory of it. It just hovered above the ground. It was like a great low shot that caused a slight rebound to drop in front of Pickford. Pickford was very lucky that there was no one close to pick up that rebound. Let's see. So I put here that the difference, in my opinion, the very big difference. Oh, let me show you this too. So this is the very big difference in this game. This was so in one of my apps. This is one of the usage, or one of the one of the things that you can utilize on this app. Big up John Conway, by the way. Another proper red. Always showing love for other Reds, supporting. He gives out. He's giving out super chats. He's giving out memberships. He is a loyal Red that likes to support Reds, and I appreciate that. I only encourage more of those to follow in John's example, because he's a great guy. But getting back to this, on this is like the momentum chart. Okay, so on this app I have, it shows you the momentum chart. Okay, and obviously that one little peak there is that for the beginning is blue. The blue is for Everton, the green is for Liverpool. Okay, so the blue, that little peak right there, that was I believe that was the Calvert-Lewin possible header to Alisson. Okay, but as you see the game continue to progress and progress, and that was it. Pretty much that. There was one other little peak there, as you saw. Oh, big up, big up. I got you. I got you. If there's other Reds giving, there's other Reds doing commentary or content right now. Definitely, I understand completely. If you need to open, if you're on your phone, yeah, more phones like Marion Southward, or if you have your computer and you're able to open up multiple browsers and open up some of the other things, you can hop back and forth between different groups. That's what I do, at least whenever I have the opportunity to watch other content creators. What I'll do is I'll watch all of them if they're on at the same time. If they're not, and I have the privilege of watching them on replay or watching them live, but individually, I'll watch them that way. But if not, I open up multiple windows and I show love by keeping the window open, because that shows engagement for the algorithm. And also I try to comment, give a thumbs up always. That's a proper Red to me. But again, in this momentum chart, you can see that pretty much Liverpool controlled the entire game. And a good bit of that was because of the play that they came out intending to do, which is break down a low block. And the low block is what we did. I say, London or England is known for their, at least London, as I know, is known for their double-decker buses. Okay. This was a double-decker parked bus for Everton, for sure. Okay. It just simply was, because there was nothing that you could say elsewise when you saw the play. Because here's the difference in this game, okay? And this is something, again, I wanted to show too. In my opinion, the first yellow was warranted on Ashley Young. I think it was absolutely warranted. If you watch it over, it was practically a knee-on-knee tackle. It's very, very reckless and extremely dangerous, because a knee-on-knee tackle, you could either end up with a sprained knee, a torn ligament, hyperextension. Any of those things can happen when you're going knee to knee. You can have something terrible happen, like what happened to me at one point, not necessarily from a challenge, or a football challenge, but you could end up breaking your kneecap. Those things are beyond things that you want to see in this game. Reckless by a veteran in Ashley Young, who has played on great teams and has certainly enough experience, possibly the most experienced player on the pitch at the time for Everton. Okay, so I think the second tackle, which is what I'm showing here, was a god-awful tackle. Absolutely awful tackle. Now, albeit I cannot show you the tackles in real time. I can't show you the videos and such, okay, without like getting a knock or getting a copyright infringement or whatever those things, are happen when you do so. So you just have to remember back, utilize it. I understand it's a still image, but all the same, this image is important, because as you can see in this image, Young isn't anywhere close to getting the ball. He's behind Diaz. He's taking him out from behind. He ends up contacting his right foot, and is absolutely a horrible challenge, and is outright another yellow card. It is simply that, period. I don't think you can say anything else. Clear yellow card, in my opinion. I think it should be a clear yellow card for anyone watching this game. Okay. Now, what I can say is that there's a major difference. Okay. Because whereas Kanate, the first challenge, albeit, was a yellow card. I can understand you giving a yellow card for the first challenge. It was more of a tactical foul and worthy of a card, in my opinion. He was kind of like out of position. His momentum was taking him forward, and he ended up grabbing and hauling down the player. Absolute yellow card. This foul, however, is not a yellow card in my opinion. And then why I can say that so much is because the second foul was soft at best. Look at how he's like, Beto is just, he already knows he's got the slightest bit of contact and he's already putting on his Speedos and about to take a dive into the Anfield pitch. Because just because you have a yellow card, it does not automatically mean that any foul you commit afterwards, automatic yellow card. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. And with that in mind, albeit it is reckless, or albeit it was stupid, okay, I'll go as far as to say it's stupid for Konate to give that discretion to the referee to choose what is and what isn't a cardable offense. You don't want to make any tackles that are fouls, period, much less if you do make a foul, you don't want it to be, okay, now you got to go up to the discretion of the referee of whether he wants to say a card or not have a card. And you can have a situation like what we had in the Spurs match where you have a referee that is just hot to trot with giving out cards, apparently. Apparently, that's his secret Santa gift is a card for you, apparently, in that game with the Spurs. Okay? But this was not a foul. No, excuse me, this was not a card. This was not a cardable offense. If you look at it, he's already pulling out of the challenge. He already knows that he definitely fouled him. I can say that much. He fouled him. But is it a cardable offense? No. He's pulling back. It's soft at best. He's not pulling him down. He did foul him, but it's not a foul where I would say, oh, he needs to be sent off. Not like the Young foul or the first or second Young foul. Okay, not even close. It's not even. If anything, reminds me of the foul that was committed by either Patterson or even Onana. And the Patterson foul was like definitely Onana, foul where he went into the boards. That could have been a questionable call. I understand that. He was definitely had a lot of men. That's just two guys going forward. Okay, I can understand you not giving definitely not a card, but not a foul, but possibly a foul, possibly not a foul. But then Diaz went on further and got another foul call, that wasn't called inside the box on Patterson, and you can see he cut him back. I'm going to get more into that too, because I'm going to go into a lot about Diaz in a game. Again, let me say this clearly and specifically. This game was not an exceptional game. This game was not a game where you had people on this pitch playing some high level, amazingly incredible, intense level type game for Liverpool, and definitely not for Everton. Okay, I'm not saying that at all. However, I'm going to be grading on a curve. Okay, and that's something that you need to recognize. I am grading on a curve, and what that is, in case you don't know what grading on a curve is I'm going to be doing. Whereas if you're going 1 to 10 or 1 to 100, however you want to reference it, okay? If you're going to 1 to 10, I'm going to say a 7 is a 100, okay? A 7 is an A grade, or an 8 is an A grade, that kind of situation, okay? So yeah. So I'm gonna get into it. And Brian, I'm gonna comment on. I saw that your letter of the law comment. I'm definitely gonna comment on that because I do reference that here in my thing, because I did look up some of the point, those kinds of points. But let me bring out some key points as well. Okay, so some key points of the game were some key points, and big up to Nilante representing the UK. One of my definitely general in the mighty Red Army here. I'm definitely starred yours. I'm going to star all your comments or all your questions or anything that you guys need to say. I appreciate you guys doing the double or triple takes that you guys are taking, in the sense of if you're watching Ends and Savage, or if you're watching, I don't know who else is on at the moment. But I do really appreciate you guys being a part of this. My key points for this game were this, okay? I think there's a reason why. There's a reason why Diaz got a standing ovation when he left the pitch. Now I get it. Everyone likes to clap. I clap when the player leaves the pitch. You know the amount of enthusiasm that you put into the clap normally is garnered how much of emphasis or effort he's put out on the pitch normally. Okay, but I believe there's a reason why Diaz got a standing ovation from the Anfield crowd. That was a game again where I'd say it was a very quiet Anfield. A little bit like wasn't extremely a lot of energy. At times, you saw more energy from the Everton fans than you did from the Liverpool fans, which was very interesting. But again, despite the 1-0 lead and the change of intentions by bringing in Gomez for Diaz at left back, let me repeat that, for bringing in Gomez for Diaz at left back, I believe Diaz worked his tail off the entire game. I believe that he worked his tail off the entire game. And I'm going to go into a lot of the different points and a lot of different key moments that really emphasize that to me in a game, again, that's on a curve, a game, again, that's very difficult to grade because one team is trying to play football. One team is trying to win. The other team's just trying not to lose. This is simply that. And they're getting to a grave era of a moment for a team, meaning Everton, where they are having their players look for fouls, look to try to get people sent off, diving and just throwing their bodies in front of everything and anything, looking to have sometimes 7, 8 men. There were points when there were 8 men in the box for Everton. 8 men, if not sometimes 9, with a guy hovering at the top of the box. There are plenty of times when Calvert-Lewin came in from his striker position and basically played midfield. That's not a team looking to win. That's a team looking to not get embarrassed. So yeah, there's our parts and points that I wanted to bring out. Look, I mentioned the Peterson foul on Diaz. I don't know if you guys remember that, but I thought that was an important a moment because I thought that could have been a foul that could have been called that was not called. Okay, because on that play, Diaz is taking the ball forward. He cuts it back as if he hit pause on the ball, and Peterson, of course, this goes in for the dive or in for the challenge, slides in front of him. And as Diaz is cutting back to go back and take the ball a different direction, he goes into Diaz. Now, Diaz might have initiated some of that content. I understand that. But what else can he do? He just cut the ball back. The ball's sitting there, and now he's about to go back for the ball. And here you have this guy just sliding through, It's going to be a foul, and he took Diaz out. That could have been a foul, and it wasn't. It wasn't, and it's okay. I'm okay with that because I believe it should have been, but it wasn't. So Everton, you've gotten your gift. That was a gift right there. Okay. Let's see. Again, that's so that could work out, balance out this foul that is the lucky Konate foul, apparently, right? Look, there could have been a call. This wasn't necessarily on. This was on Salah. There could have been a call, and this is something that I do want to PGMOL to start taking note of. In NFL, in football in America, there's something called a horse collar tackle. A horse collar tackle is when you grab someone from behind, right around here, like you grab their shirt, and normally it's around the collar of the jersey or the kit. And sometimes it could be even lower in the back, in the mid back range. But you're grabbing onto someone's kit and you yank them down. It is so dangerous to do something like that. Let me repeat, so dangerous to do something like that. It's one of the reasons why reflecting on my my Philadelphia Eagles when we had Terrell Owen, and he got pulled down and he ended up getting a knee injury. It's a dangerous foul because when you pull down on that, you have leverage to pull someone down, and that's where I wish Chris was here to show you. Let me see. If their leg is like this, it'll go. Their leg will flap over, and you can really tear ligaments. You can do some damage to the knee because you're being pulled down with such force that it can do some damage. That's what Mikolenko, who played a great game, definitely a great game against Salah, took him out of the game, was really playing well, was just focused on marking Salah as a man, and really did a great job of doing some defensive measures on him. I would say also, remember the Onana foul. It was borderline. And that was like, if out of all the calls, the Onana foul was definitely border. Let me see 1 second. I'm going to put these. I'm starring all the all your things. So these are some great comments. There was the Onana foul on Diaz when they were both rushing at the ball. And once again, Diaz had to step on him, and Onana, rather than try to Onana goes into the back of him, and they fall out of bounds, and they both take a tumble. Obviously, Diaz gets the first initial push, goes down. Onana goes over him and then over the boards. That was right on the end line. I'm not going to necessarily say that was a deliberate or blatant foul, but I will say that was something of, it was a rough challenge. Let's call it that. Okay, a very, very tough and rough challenge. Something that could have been a call, but I'm not going to go. That's something that I'm not going to hem and haul over. Let's see what else. But it's the point of why I'm bringing all this stuff up. No, I didn't. I will check out Redbird. I will check out Jamie's show, and I will certainly be leaving a comment, I'm sure, depending on his take of Lucho, because I know that he is very critical of Lucho, and he can be very, very demonstrative when it comes to his critiques of my Colombian brethren, Lucho. Getting back to, let me get back to my train of thought here. Gomez, and I already mentioned how Gomez again came in and played for an advanced left back, being Diaz. Okay. And, but why I was saying what I'm saying about Diaz, and I'm making such a point about Diaz, is that Diaz was basically involved in every impactful, and again, on a curve, impactful moment in this game, minus the Salah from the Vassor goal. Other than that, he was involved in pretty much every involvement. Okay. Maybe you could even say not the I don't think he was involved in the great shot by Elliott. I thought that was a rip of a shot. You could see it was a knuckleball. I know a lot of people are saying there's a difference. When you strike a ball, if it's spinning, like, it's actually spinning, that means that you got your laces over it and you're able to actually put some spin on it. And that means that the ball's got obvious momentum, but it'll dip, it'll go. But if you ever see a replay and you see the ball basically not move, like as in the ball is just, it's moving, but there's no rotation on the ball, that's what we call, at least in America, that's what we call a knuckleball. Okay. And a knuckleball is in baseball, when you throw a knuckleball, you have all your knuckles on the ball and you throw it. A knuckleball will it doesn't go. It kind of dips. It goes. It knuckles. It'll hang out and then it'll dip one way. You don't know where it's going. That's the one thing. No spin on the ball is a very difficult shot to take on, because you don't know, at least when you see the spin of a ball, you know which direction it's going to dip, which way it's going to curve, you can understand that. But if there's no spin on the ball, chances are it's what I just called it, a knuckleball. And that knuckleball trajectory is going to not give you any indication where that ball is going. And that knuckleball that Elliott hit was just like a powerful shot. And then finally knuckled down, and albeit the goalkeeper's got to make that save. It's a save that he should make. It's a save that was, if it was maybe a few feet over, that's a goal. But because it was more so in the path of the goalkeeper, it was still hard. But that's the thing about a knuckleball. You have to wait to that very last second to react, because you don't know where this ball is going to go. And he was lucky. Pickford was lucky to get a hand on it. It still hit the woodwork. Great shot by Elliott. Let's give that man his due. I know he's often not given the due, and he's often maligned by some of our fans. But I love what Elliott's bringing to the pitch. I love the energy, the intensity, and the commitment to the role that he has for this club, and that is being an energy provider and being someone that's committed to pressing. I love every and all of it. Big up to Beijing Pops LFC representing Beijing Reds TV. Always a blessing to have you in the chat or a part of the panel, or any participation by Beijing Pops is well warranted, because the man is a very, very knowledgeable and really everyone loves not only his smile but his demeanor. I think is best to put it. He has a great demeanor, very calm and collected, and his presentation is always very smooth. But again, I'm going to be starring all your comments for sure, because big up to Richard. Richard, hello, brother. He's commenting. I starred yours. So like, if you guys can stick around, I'm going to be bringing up the comments. I don't have much more of a presentation to do, but I'm going to, as always, I like to include every bit of the chat in my presentations, because I'm the 12th man just as much as you're the 12th man. So that's why I say it's my show just as much as it is your show. And I want you to always remember that. Okay. So again, I talked about Diaz. Diaz in the 13th minute should have scored, I believe. Diaz in the 13th minute, he had a great opportunity to score. If it wasn't for Young, who made a great last-second sliding save, that was a sure on goal. The 17th minute, Diaz started a break that shouldn't have broken down, which it did, unfortunately. 21st minute, albeit Diaz should have done better. It was on a little bit of a break. 21st minute, he had the ball at his feet. He tried to dribble in. He kind of lost it at his feet, which is unfortunate. However, this is what I mean by the difference in Diaz this year. His commitment to defense is exceptional, absolutely exceptional. And why I say that and bring that up is because he turned around and got back on the ball. That was huge. Big up to Psychedelic Shaolin. I see you in the house. Big up. Again, I'm starring all your comments. Some of them, I don't, even if it's not talking to me, I'm starring them because I want to include everyone in this fun little presentation today. But again, he worked back off the ball. And as soon as he lost the ball, he made a commitment to recovering it, and he recovered it immediately and presented the ball back to the offense to try and try to get something out of it. That's the difference. And again, he was on the right side at this point. He was on the right wing when he made his run, when he lost the ball, when he recovered the ball, and then brought it back into the offense. He was on the right wing at this moment. Okay. Again, total football, guys. This like basic amoeba transformer style formation that we play, where it's just like, just fill in the position, fill in the spots for these players and just go, because we know total football, you can all amount to something. 21st minute, I spoke about that. He immediately recovered the ball. Hatta had a great foul. Had a great foul. Had a really good header. It was Beijing Pops. I was watching Beijing Pops, watch along, and like Beijing Pops was a little bit ahead of everyone, and his reaction to Hatta to Yatta's goal attempt from the header was, I thought he scored the way that he reacted, but it was a really good attempt. It's unfortunately it was a good strike, had good velocity. He just hit the ball right at the goalkeeper. Slightly similar to Calvert-Lewin's, more so, a little bit less so, because Calvert-Lewin didn't really have pace on it. Hatta's did, but all the same, good. Hatta got a really good foul outside the box for that little play that I like to see. Trent scored on that play before, where Salah kind of like runs over the ball and then like kind of back kicks it out, and then Trent comes in to try to like get around the wall, and then Trent quickly comes in and tries to get a shot off. Unfortunately, hit the wall on that one. Let's see, the 42nd minute, Trent had a great really early that delivers a great cross. Trent also had that volley that he had on goal. Really, really phenomenal shot. I wish it had a little bit more dip, or if he hit that just a little bit lower, that's a goal. That's certainly a goal. But I like the fact that Trent's taking shots and doing what he needs to do. Big up Philly Liverpool FC. Big up. Appreciate showing some love from my East Coast Reds. Excuse me. Big up. Let's see. And then the other point I wanted to make was, look, Tsimikas looked like a player that hasn't been playing consistent. But once you start giving a player consistent runs, you start giving them the confidence to know they're going to be playing, that in their mindset they have to be prepared. Every player has to be prepared, albeit. But, the mindset of having a player be prepared to take on the responsibility of playing game in, game out, you start to get a different mindset of preparation for the game. And I think that Tsimikas, with some consistent play, he will find that touch. He will become a real contributor to this team. I think that he showed a little bit of his ability to cross and get people involved, but he'll get a better understanding of where he needs to be defensively and where he needs to be in the shape and form of this team. And it's something that I really think is going to happen for him. You know what? Let me show you some other great stats, because we don't need to watch this BS crap right there. This right here is what I'd like to say. Now, I know Bejan Pops was talking about, in his opinion, he doesn't really give much merit to a player that gets a foul, okay, that wins a foul. I personally do attribute to someone winning a foul as something important. I think that it's important because you obviously were at such a level. You're obviously at such a level that you caused the player to make a mistake, or you caused the player to purposely foul you. One of the two is going on, okay? And if that's the case, then, and it could be a foul, or it could be just, a handball incursion like this, and that is important because you're giving your team an opportunity for either a free kick or a penalty kick. In this circumstance, it was a penalty kick. Now, what I can say about this certain handball is that, okay, there was, after the game, there was a guy, I'm trying to think of his, obviously Rio, we expect, as a Red Devil, I expect Rio to give his biased take, one that was so biased that he made it a halftime, and then at the end of the game, he acted like he didn't even say what he said at halftime. But yeah, it was just pathetic. But there was another pundit on TNT Sports, I think it was, named Phil Jagaluka. I might be pronouncing it wrong. Phil Jaguelka is how you spell his name. Played for Everton from 2007 to 2019, so it's a good run. It's 12 years. Had 385 appearances with them, 19 goals. Everton through and through, right? This guy wants to go as far as to say that this is not a foul, or this is not a handball. he was going as yeah, exactly, Nidalante. Yeah, that guy. Jag E Elka. Okay. Jag E Elka. Jag E Elka. I like how you put it phonetically for me. Thank you. It was really, really funny to see his take where he thought it was not a foul. He didn't think he thought Young was a soft foul. He thought that Kanate should have easily gone off. He made a point to say that this wasn't a handball. When you have punditry like that, it's one of those situations where you might as well have me on there. I might as well be a pundit on some of these shows, because at least, albeit I do have, you can understand I have some Liverpool bias, but at least we would be getting a little bit of Liverpool bias out there, because it seems like often is the case, those that represent Liverpool tend to shade towards going against Liverpool to show no bias, or to try to go overly to show no bias towards Liverpool. Whereas in some of these other guys out there, for whether it's Neville, or whether it's obviously Rio, or any of these other guys, they go out of their way to be like, hey, I just don't care. I'm just gonna call it from my Red Devils glasses. So it's pretty funny. But they certainly have an agenda, as Marianne just said. They definitely have an agenda. So again, this is certainly a red card, or excuse me, a handball. A handball. And if this is not a handball, I get it, this is a still image. But even if you watch it, if you're going to be out there hailing a taxi, okay, or a cab, which is what Keane is doing, let's be honest. Keane got lucky. He got lucky in that earlier in the game, he had another handball that, albeit was not a handball. I can be honest. His hand was by his side. It was certainly a handball, as in it hit his hand, but it was by his side. So I can be cool. I can say, all right, I understand. The letter of the law, that is a handball technically because it hits the hand, but letter of the law has been adjusted to say if it's by your side, or if it's not a deliberate attempt to make your body bigger, then it's not a handball. How can you say this is not an attempt to make your body bigger, to take away the opportunities in space? If that's not hit by his hand, that is meeting Nunez in the middle for a possible goal. It befuddles me sometimes when you see and hear some of the takes that people do, whether it's just to get clicks or whether it's just to do what you need to do. But it's one of those situations where I'm just like, man, this is poor at best. This is poor, very poor. So handball, this resulted, once again, Diaz, a part of the play, albeit Pops go like this. How do you say earmuffs? Put earmuffs on, okay? But this is a foul, and this is a foul that's created by Diaz doing getting by his man. As you can see, he's by his man. I think that's Peterson right there, getting by his man. Keane having to, once again, double up on Diaz, which is what you saw all day. Diaz and Salah both doubled the entire game. As soon as they came close to touching the ball, they always had one, if not two men on them. And this is a handball, plain and simple. Plain and simple. Keane got away with the first one, which he should have. He's not getting away with this one. It's just that simple. And it resulted in, I don't know about you guys, but I know that I have confidence in Salah. I want to believe, and he's our Egyptian king, but being the uncertainty he's had with some of the penalty kicks, and considering two of the penalty kicks he missed last year were certainly confidence penalty kicks that he missed, and also resulting in us not being in the Champions League this year. If he makes those kicks, in your mind, you're thinking, don't miss this. If you miss that penalty kick, it's going to be a momentum changer. It could be the reason why they end up holding out for a 0-0 draw. It could be the reason why they just hold on to that shape that they're trying to hold on to with the 10 men and doing so. But Salah stepped up despite having a really, really poor game. He stepped up, played well, and got his result. I think also, let's go into this slide here. This is what we had to deal with. I mean, this is how basic Jurassic Park Pickford is, in that he knew chances are he's going to be taking on some type of penalty kick. He was already prepared. He had his cheat sheet ready already. That's how sad it was. That's the mindset of this club. Everton knows that most likely they're giving up some penalty, some free kick, some type of opportunity that's going to result in him having to take and look at his little crib notes on where to expect the percentages of penalties, then where they're going to go. Von Pickford, I can't stand that guy. And with that goal, I'd like to say Mohamed Salah now takes on 5th place in goal scorers for Liverpool. I think this is an exceptional statistic, considering that it moves him to 194 goals and 316 appearances for Liverpool. He is only 34 goals behind Billy, and obviously quite a bit behind Gordon, Roger Hunt, even more so, and Ian Rush, very, very far, well over 50 some odd goals behind, well over 150 goals behind Ian Rush. But can I just say this too, though? This is something that is very interesting. So I had some pretty interesting Mo Salah, King Mo stats, and that is this. It's 18 goals out of 24 for his streak, being Mo Salah, being a goal scorer. It's also 7 out of the last 9 that he scored this year, that he scored a goal in. And also, Mo becomes the first player to score in his first 4 consecutive home games at Anfield. Another record for an Egyptian king. He continues to set records, continues to do something that is really incredible. And albeit, you're right, no one is going to break Ian Rush's goal contributions for this club. However, there was something that's notable. If you look at it, Ian Rush has 346 goals, but that's in 660 appearances. Okay? And why I'm making that note, the reason why I'm making that note is because if you were, this is hypothetical, obviously, and let's just say he has the same trajectory, the same amount of production and everything else. If you were to take the same amount of games, about the same amount of games, not even, let's just double it. He's played 316. If you doubled his amount, that would be what, 632. So that would be 632 appearances if you doubled it. If you were to double that and double the amounts of goals he scored, albeit I understand this is all projection. This is all speculation, I should say, But if you were to double the appearances and then say he had the same amount of progression on his goals, Mo Salah would have more goals. He would have 388 goals in 632 appearances. It's very interesting. I'm not saying that he's going to break Ian Rush. I'm not saying he's going to play for another 300 games, 300 some odd games. I understand that. Okay. But I will say, if you do look at it from that perspective, it's very interesting. If you're looking at it as in games, goals, and appearances, and the rate that he's scoring on, and the rate that it took Ian Rush to score on, it does show that Mo Salah is on Ian Rush levels when it comes to goal production for this club. That's what I'm trying to get at. He's a great goal scorer, in my mind, one of the Premier League's best. And albeit, no one's going to play, as Brian just said, no one's going to play 660 games, albeit it's incredible that he even put in that amount of games. but all the same, I'm just making it from a, relatable stat if you're utilizing speculation and such. So it's just a very interesting stat to me. But again, that's what it is. And I believe that's all my stats. So I have for the man of the match, I'm going to just announce this earlier. He's the man I've been talking about early. I don't think you can see that in the background, but he's the man giving praises. Okay, in the background, he's joining me in the studio here. My man of the match was Lucho. And the reason why is from all the reasons I said earlier. Again, I'm grading on a curve. I'm grading on a game that no one had any substantially exceptional game. No one was outright someone that you could say hands down deserved it by themselves. I just think that Diaz was involved in so many moments that were impactful in this game, whether it was the sending off of Young, whether it's the fact that he was so deadly, he was so, so impactful in this game that they had to double, if not triple team him. They had to foul him. They had to do everything and anything they could to really take him out of the game. I talked about the Peterson foul in the box. I talked about the Onana foul, in my opinion, soft or loosely called foul, loosely could have been called foul in the box. Again, I talked about, the handball call that ended up, the handball from the cross that he made that ended up being our PK that got Salah his first goal and broke in the game winner. Whether it was all these different things, whether it was him going from left wing to play left back. I mean, he played left back, people, in this game. The man was working his tail off. Again, whether it was him playing on the left wing, center, right wing, playing again, left back. This man did work, and he should be a credit to. I know he didn't exactly create or present. He didn't get the goal, or I know people have some, I'm going to call it a loose agenda. Some have blatant agendas, but I'll say not everyone's criticism of Diaz is agenda-based. So, some of it is warranted. And Diaz, despite that all, I think really put in a service in this game that was a difference maker in this game. And it's just so many of his impactful contributions, I think, were very important. Albeit you could have given it to our captain VVD as well. I think he played a phenomenal game. I think that, if you look at his statistics, whether it was the 10 out of 15 aerial duels that he won, again, we might as well call him captain for, the aerial captain, basically, because like the man should have a pilot helmet on. He handles and controls the aerial duels of this entire year. And if you look at his numbers, phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. For all those that keep saying and giving all the stats of, oh, he's not the VVD of old and da. Come on, man. End it. Stop it. You're doing yourself a disservice by saying that. The man was next to godlike when it came to defensively, when it came to his 2018, 19 performances and such like that. He was by far could have been regarded as one of the best defensive center backs of all time at that point, with the performance and performances he was bringing and the amount of just pure dominance that he brought. I believe, despite his injury, I believe VVD is at world-class levels. He's just not, just because of that injury and because of people's elevated perspectives of him, they're not giving him his due. And I think that's unfortunate, because I think that, and again, it's not a stretch, Bayesian, it's not a stretch, because you know why it's not a stretch? Literally, I wasn't even the one that referenced it. It was, if you're watching the punditry of the game is literally saying that he's playing left back, and he's playing it from a deeper role, but he's actually going forward. Let's be honest with it. I know we don't want to give this man credit, and I know that you might say I'm maybe tilting the playing field a little bit to try to like push my narrative, as people might want to say. But realistically, I didn't make that evaluation of Diaz playing left back. It was given to me by the punditry or by the actual, people that were watching or doing the game for us in America, at least here on I think it was on Peacock or NBC, whichever one. He literally, and I'm not saying you're trying to discredit Lucho. Pops, I know you're not doing that at all. But I'm just saying that wasn't me that made that call. It was something that when he versed it out, I was like, okay, wow, that's interesting. It's the same reason why, when you say he's not playing left back, well, there's a reason why Gomez came in as a sub for this guy. That's why I'm trying to get across. You got to give him credit. He played left. He played a little bit of left back. It was very similar to what we saw. Very similar to what we saw Simicast play when he came in late into a game. I'm going blank on the game. I think it was last, I want to say. But one of the games that he came in and Simicast played a left wing style position where he played like a more advanced left back position, but he played it a little bit more as a left wing back that's bordering on being a left wing when he brought on Simicast. That was a couple games back. But again, I'm going to star your comments. I'm going to address them because I know you guys I know everyone loves to try to take on the nice guy. Even when I do bring on Sith Lord, I know I was bringing on like Sith Lord settings yesterday because Daish's comment and also some of the, I as I said, some of the jaded comments, not by our fans at least, but more so from some of the commentary pundits and even some of the takes I heard on, like football terrorists and stuff like that. I had to give our side of the story. Okay, that's just how it is. At least that's what I believe. So okay. So I'm gonna deal with these, and I starred your brain because, like, again, I get people's takes. I get it. I didn't say he played left back as in like he started out in the game as a left back, but what people are seeming to not grasp is that I've said it time and time again. Our shape of formation is what someone one of the pundits said it. What a lot of other people are saying. What someone who I do really like, someone that I do rate, Lawrence McKenna, said as well. It's something that I remember commenting and having him actually comment back towards my comment with what I was saying. Okay, and that is our formation is an amoeba style formation. It's one of those like formations that changes and adjusts. It has people at times in your minds. You would certainly see them as being playing out of position, possibly. Whereas they're not playing in position, more so they're filling in a role. So again, I mentioned how Diaz, one of his negatives was that he had the ball. He was on the right wing. He was bringing the ball up. I think Salah was towards his left. He was bringing the ball on a break, on an actual attempt that could have resulted into an offensive threat for us. And he ended up getting the ball taken away, I believe, by Mikalenko, who had, again, an exceptional game defensively for Everton. And what happened was, after losing the ball, Diaz turned around, pursued that player, engaged, took the ball back off of him, and then progressed it forward into making the attack, restarting the attack. Okay, but that was on the right wing. He's a left winger getting the ball back on the right wing. Okay, so albeit I get that people want to say the same things about like, oh, he's not playing left back. Albeit he's not playing your traditional left back. But this team does not do that. And also, not only is he not playing your traditional left back, he's playing what it was in that we took our left back off the pitch. He then had take on the responsibilities of covering that position for the missing left back. So therefore, he is technically playing left back or left wing back, or however you want to put it. If you want to take off the back and just say left wing, cool. But he's playing the left side in that formation where he's being able to cover at left back if necessary, but also progress more forward in that our mindset was to create more opportunities offensively. And that is why we included a left winger playing in the position of a left back. And it's why later on in the game, when we had the lead and we had a 1-0 lead, it's why Klopp decided to put and say, okay, we got our lead. We've got what we wanted. This is possibly going to be the only goal we're going to get from this game. I'm going to now defensively take out Diaz at left wing back, left wing, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to put in Gomez as a traditional left back. And he's going to not do what you saw Diaz do, and that is go forward. Okay? Do you understand me now when I break it down that way? Hopefully. So all the same. All the same. That's cool. So let's see. We can go back to the big screen here because my presentations and the things I was showing are complete. And now I just want to make sure I can show your comments because I'm definitely been bombarded with quite a few. And let's see. Okay. I'm going to put down a few more clicks on some of these. Let's see, this one, and okay. I swear, Brian, sometimes I think you might be more American than Irish, because I didn't know that that in Ireland they say dude as much as they do here in America. I don't particularly say dude that often for myself, but again, let me make sure my camera's here presented well enough so you can see my guy behind me, Lucho. Okay, so let's get into some of these starred comments. I've got a bunch, 38 of them here, so there's a bunch of them here. Let's see. Brian says, it's sad what Everton has become. No intention of attacking or playing. I agree with that completely. It's such if there's anything I would have been mad about for Everton, it would be that this is the state that their club has become. If I was an Everton fan, which I'm not, I would be so angry that a team that spent over $500 million, a team that is in trouble with FFP breaches and is about to go through a case that could possibly warrant point deduction from this year. Okay, points being deducted. I thought it was going to be from last year. They ended up, appealing and pushing this case out until this year. Okay, but all the same, now it's going to be adjunct this year, and you're going to find them having to take on the responsibility of those breaches. It's incredible. I would be angry about that. Wouldn't be angry, and I'd be angry about the fact that they have no real. They go out into these games against teams like Liverpool with no intention on winning. They just have every intention on just not losing, and that's sad. I would never want to see my team be in that situation. Brian saying, learning the law is possibly a yellow, but the rules are always flexible. A different ref on a different day sends him off. SHIT happens in a game, though, so we take it and move on. I agree. Look, I said it again. I said it becomes, you shouldn't put it into the discretion of the referee. The referee could have easily said it was a yellow card. The referee in this moment said it wasn't. And as much as I harp and gripe about sometimes some of the calls that we don't get, I'm going to obviously give him the credit for making what I thought was a good call. Big up to everyone. Performance was average, but we were in control and we got the win with a clean sheet. Absolutely. I mean, like in this game, we had 78% of possession, nearly 80% of the time we had the ball. That's dominance. Marion Southworth saying, I wonder why the crowd have fallen off, because with the 12th man, it can turn a game around in our favor. Absolutely agree with that. I think that it was noticeable that the crowd wasn't as fervent. I believe that that's a result also of, 8, sometimes if not 9, it seemed like, guys in the box and everyone just, doing their best slide tackles and, everything they can do to make sure that we weren't getting shots. Hey, that is what it is. We got to be a little bit more clinical in the opportunities that we had. We did have some good opportunities. And despite that, we had 26 shots. If you told me that we got 26 shots, 13 outside the box, 13 inside the box, I would say the chances are we're going to score one. I think that one of them is going to go in. Let's see. And Brian is agreeing the crowd was terrible. As per usual, atmosphere has dipped off massively the last few years. That's very interesting. Very interesting. I would love to hear why you think that, Brian. Redbird saying, bless up, 12th man. Did you catch Jamie's show earlier talking about your boy Lucho? I did not. And again, like I said, I will do my diligence in watching it for sure from start to finish so I can make sure that I give everyone the chance to view their points. I will do my point of making my notes, doing my research, and bringing the pain. Let's see. What else do we have here? I did really like that shot, by the way, Bejan. I did. I thought it was a great shot by Elliott. I think that Elliott often isn't really given his due. I think that he comes in, brings energy. I think the fact that he's looking to contribute, whether through passing, intensity, his defensive commitment, or even when he does pop off a shot here and there, I think it's really, really good. I like to see it from Elliott. I think that Elliott should get more praise this year than he's actually getting. And he's not one of the three people that I would give up on. Okay, he's not one of the three people I would transfer, unlike some people. Let's see. Marion says again, it's a shame because this was one of LFC's strengths. I was in the cop before the seats, and it was electric. With the crowd went when the crowd went, you went with them. I had no idea that it was dangerous. God bless the 97, for sure. God bless the 97 always. Let's see. Richard Hutchinson saying, we understand knuckleball. I got you, brother. I got you. I'm just putting it out there for some. Not everyone watches what a knuckleball is. Not everyone references that because that's obviously a baseball terminology. It's something that we utilize more here in America, but all the same, not everyone watches baseball in the world. It's the reason why I made that reference, and I was clarifying it for those that don't. But he's saying, we understand knuckleball. Luis Diaz needs to improve on his end product. Also, Darwin Nunez, hold your ears, Marion, needs to improve on his finishing. Oh, I don't know about that. I mean, I guess so. I mean, everyone can always improve. I don't think that this game was a game that I was saying that Darwin's finishing was horrible or something like that. Darwin had one real good crack at scoring, which was like one of the few shots we had on goal. And Darwin set up a great opportunity for Mo. I'm going to give him credit. Psychedelic Shaolin, big up. 12th man, I agree. The Diaz slander seems harsh. He had to fly for about 14 hours. Again, 14 hours of being on a flight. It's the same reason why, even though I had Endo starting this game, it's why I believe Endo didn't start. Because apparently I think Endo's flight was about 16 hours of a flight for Endo to get back to Liverpool. But again, for Diaz, 14 hours before our game, and jet lag can last up to 1 week before feeling normal again. It's a great point. Psychedelic Shaolin with the I like the medical moment. And also he said, I like Ibu, although he does seem to have some clumsy bozo moments in the locker. Maybe Matip should start the next game. I think that Matip, depending on what is our next game, it depends on what our next game is. If our next game is a cup game or a tell me because I don't have the schedule up at the moment. I'm going to look it up here. I think that our next game is I want to say our next game is a Premier League game, but I will tell you in one moment. Let's see. It looks like our next game. Yeah, our next game that's what I thought. Our next game is against Toulouse. Man, it's so sad. If my French teacher from high school heard me now, she would be mad. But Toulouse is is our next opponent. It's in 3 days. It's a game that I will be doing a preview for, and also a game that we might see Matip in, but most likely I'll be more comfortable seeing us start Happy Kwanzaa and probably start Konate in that game as well, personally. But you might see Matip start next to him as the veteran leadership role taker. Philly Liverpool FC, excuse me, says 2-0, just like I called it. Called Mo Mo at the Mo ATG. I think that means Mo getting a goal also. Philly Liverpool FC is one a fellow wager on games as myself. Hopefully you put some dough on that wager. Richard Hutchinson, excuse me, saying that Richard saying Van der Ven would have been a great signing. I think he would have been a good signing. I don't necessarily know he would have been a great signing, only because he would have been someone that I don't necessarily see getting that many minutes. And if you do sign a Van der Ven and then don't play Tsimikas, then there's really no role for Tsimikas on this team. And it's something where you would certainly sooner see Tsimikas be leaving if I was him or not. Let's say, what else do we have? Again, I have a bunch of your stars comments. I'm going to go through them all. I see a bunch of live comments being popped on there too. We definitely need to rest Salah. Nilante is saying, big up to Nilante. Yes, Salah should be taking a nap, just like I'm sure your newborn needs to be doing. Let's see. Richards also says Liverpool would need to rotate for. Gosh, I can't believe I keep blundering this name. To Luis, Toulouse. Yes, I say it again. Apologies to my to my French teacher, to my high school French teacher. I know that even though you're French Canadian, it's still all the same. I know she's probably going crazy if she's watching this. And Forest is our next one as well after that. Yes, that is correct. Let's see. Toulouse is how you say it, I believe. Toulouse. Let's see. Richard's also saying, when will Robertson be back from shoulder injury? Most likely it'll be the start of the new year. We'll see him return. Endo and Thiago have question marks at Liverpool. We need a proper DM. I'm not going to have that trigger go off today. Okay, we're going to move on. Richard, you'll have to tune in to one of my player spotlights. I'm sure I'll be doing a player spotlight on Thiago or some other player as well. Endo, all the same. Mo needs to rest on Thursday. I agree. And if not against Forest, that could be a good shout. I don't think we'll rest Mo 2 games back-to-back, however. Marion saying pundits have an agenda. Absolutely agree. Marion's spot on as usual. Milante saying, yes, Konate should have been off. He was lucky. The other stuff was rubbish. I agree. Slightly in that the other stuff was rubbish. I don't agree that he should have been off. I believe he could have been off. But I believe the point is the referee did not see it as such, and I'm glad that he didn't. He said, we all know this, but it would have been January, December. We need to right back and push Trent into midfield. That's Nilante's opinion, not mine. Pops is saying he's living in the 90s and talking about the Derby and the passion of the old days. Okay. Liverpool need a left center back and a DM is Richard's opinion. Michael Keane's handball should have given straight away. I agree, Richard. The fact that the ref was scared to give it, the fact that the ref hesitated and called for a corner initially and had to be directed by VAR to take a look at it was kind of like sad, but that's the state of refereeing today. The biggest issue, this is Pops talking to Brian, I am not sure anyone, includes the ref and players, can keep up with the rule changes. I agree. Let's see. that record by Ian Rush is an incredible record of having 346 goals. No one's passing that. The fact that he's played 660 appearances, I don't think anyone is passing that either. You're spot on with that. I'm coming up to the end of this because we're coming up on the 90th minute soon. Very interesting, as if you doubled Salah's goals and appearance, he would have 388 goals. Exactly my point, man. That's impressive. 388 goals in 632 games. That's impressive. That should be well noted and well well documented as being a very amazing run, an amazing time that we've had this player a part of our team. I appreciate Mo Salah's inclusion and contribution to this team immensely. Let's see. Mo surpassed Stevie G and Kenny G with that. Oh, Kenny G. He surpassed Stevie G, not Kenny G on the saxophone, but King Kenny on 105 goals at Anfield. What a player we have. Need to appreciate the King, definitely. The King Kenny, and you need to appreciate the King of Egypt, our Egyptian king, for sure. A lot more. The left back call is a bit of a stretch. We basically went to a 2-4-4 with Lucho and TA masquerading as wing backs at the time, as Everton offered nothing on the wings. I agree. They ended up saying we're not, by them doing a 4-4-1 and in essence doing more of a 4-5 with no one playing in the front line at times. Absolutely, it meant that you had to push forward more numbers to take away the numerical advantage, and them clogging up the channels and everything else, that forced us to take more shots from outside the box and to get very few attempts inside the box that would have possibly warranted a goal, but it is what it is. I personally think, though, that you did see him playing a left back position all the same. Gomez came in as the real left back to counter the Danjuma sub. I agree with that, but at that time too, though, we were already up 1-0. It meant that Everton was forced to make that transition to their team, and was forced to make not only that transition to the team, but was forced to make that that change in bringing Gomez in, or Everton was forced to make that change because they were searching and hunting for a goal to get an equalizer at that moment, so they couldn't just be in their turtle shell. Yes, but he wasn't playing at left back in a proper game as a defender. He was a free attacker because they weren't coming out. Those pundits were incorrect, in my opinion. Okay, that's your opinion, Pops. As always, I appreciate your opinion, and I definitely not only appreciate it, but I think I definitely enjoy when you do give contributions to any dialogue, because I so enjoy doing the back and forth. But I disagree. And then he's also saying Lucho and TAA weren't being asked to defend by that time. Everton were offering nothing in the wide position. So I laughed when the commentator said he was playing at left back. Okay. And that's criticism of the pundit, not Diaz. That's what Brian is saying, in that Diaz had a good game. I agree with that completely. Obviously, I agree with that immensely. Diaz was good, but I wanted him to be great and tear Young apart. He did. He literally did, Pops. Come on. He literally tore Young a new one by getting him sent off. Young had nothing to give, nothing to offer. He was on skates the entire game. I didn't want the red card because that ruined the chance for Lucho to cook him constantly. Okay, albeit, but I just think that he gave him the business, and by doing so, he created that initial foul and that initial yellow to red call. And again, I agree. Going down to 10 men meant it was going to be more difficult for us to find space and channels. But all the same, hey, you can't discredit him for doing that work. Diaz needs to start being more direct and more in his end product. Okay, that's by Richard. And Pops also saying, what did you see, 12th man? It was more 2-4-4 than a 4-3-3 by then. Agreed. I'm not saying that it was a traditional 4-3-3. By that time, Trent had been pushed forward more. I agree. Diaz was being offered as a technical left wing back, wing back, or left wing, however you want to reference it. But I just think that his inclusion in that, what you're calling a 2-4-4, was that he did have that left back responsibility in having to track back and help defensively as being someone to offer that left back coverage. And it's as simple as that. If we ever got into a position like that, he was going to track back and do so. That's why I'm saying that he did utilize himself as figuratively speaking, a left back, albeit a loose-termed left back. Okay, and it was 10 men. It's basically irrelevant, is what Brian is saying. So let me get it, Dag. You guys are killing me on these new comments. So let me get on some of these new comments before, make sure I haven't missed anything. Yes, in case Marion's husband's around, I won't say it out loud, but yes, they could actually go down to get points taken away. That's spot on. I appreciate the love for sure. Definitely. Them naysayers. You got to say what you got to say. Let's see. What else they say? Let me put this. Games versus Everton used to be a titanic game. Now they're pure drama and violence. Now they're not even close to being that. You're absolutely right, Brian. Closing in on the 90th minute, people. They've neutered football by making it something only middle-class people can afford, too posh to sing. Okay, I like that reference. And some call me the romantic, football romantic. That was a very romantic use of the words there. I agree. I think that Liverpool has the best fans, the best crowd, the best audience in England, bar none. What else do we have here? I know. This is definitely, I didn't get an F in French, by the way. I definitely didn't get A's. I will say that. I think I took 3 years of French. I took 3 years of French, took a year of Spanish. I've done some Japanese. I've done some courses but that's like personal courses in Japanese. And I've looked into doing Portuguese as well, but my French teacher would be very, very sad for me today. What else do we have here? Big up to Jordan. I see you, my brother. Definitely big up to Jordan. Big up. Let's see. What other comments do we have? Let's see. Philly. Let's see. If Ashley Young, one of the most hated players amongst LC fans, he's played for both our biggest rivals. Absolutely spot on. Marion is saying, Brian, that is true. I have cried over so many fabulous players that have left this club, hence me supporting AC Milan. Oh, okay. That's a reference earlier to some players going on to what some could say our sister club, in essence, considering that Redbird, I believe it's called Redbird. I believe they're called Redbird. They're financiers in our club now. They're minority owners, and they have bought into AC Milan. You know what's very difficult too, and something that you got to keep an eye on, is this emerging and evolving world of clubs, big name clubs such as your cities, your Liverpools, your Uniteds, your Chelseas, and PSGs and other leagues, Real, those types of teams that are buying these other clubs and other leagues and utilizing them as feeder clubs now. Whereas they're making transfers, they're being able to, if they don't work out in one team. Yeah, it is called. Okay, Marion. Okay, that's what I thought it was. I didn't want to do any disrespect to our Redbird. That's why. So, but yeah, when you have cases like that, something to keep an eye on, because it's very interesting. I saw a piece on City and how they get around a lot of different ways of moving players around now with this multi-club model, as Brian just called it. Where this multi-club model, you have the ability to take a player, transfer him for whatever price or whatever, and having whatever price they want to justify it being, and they're able to transfer a player, put a player that's a fringe player on a different team, create a loan situation with one of your other teams. It's a very interesting dynamic that they're bringing on. One I think is dangerous, slightly dangerous, because the bigger teams will have the ability to stockpile their players more on these like other teams around different leagues. It's very dangerous in my opinion, because it's going to be a detriment to some of your younger or smaller teams, I should say. This is in my opinion. For instance, let's see, Inter Miami with well, I'm not going to say that. I would just call them Manchester Cheaters. New York FC, right? Exactly. They have so many different. Red Bull has the same situation too. Let's see. Pops is also saying they also have shares in your favorite French club too. Okay. Yeah, it's a really interesting situation with this, in what what Brian is calling, or what Brian properly referenced, is this multi-club model. And it's something where, albeit AC Milan isn't necessarily our sister club in that the minority ownership of Redbird is not the same as the ownership that they have in AC Milan, for instance. They have more of a ownership stake in AC Milan than they do in Liverpool. But it is pretty crazy. Brian's spot on with the help here in the reference of they have 6 or 7 clubs. City have the Manchester Cheaters have 6 or 7 clubs. That's pretty crazy. Oh, and again, it's the same for Jim Radcliffe, who owns Nice and is and wanted Manchester United. That he would thus again you would have a slight feeder club in essence, by Nice in France, and him having a share, and if he got his wish, being a minority owner that basically has managerial ownership duties of Manchester United. At least that's what he wanted, And I have no respect for Manchester Cheaters at all. That's why I call them. I know you're calling them what you're calling them. I just don't want to. I try to use PG terminology when it comes, or terms or references when it comes to utilizing the microphone. But I agree. I'm having the same regiment. Isn't that interesting? We're playing against our sister club in the Europa. Okay. Technically, yeah. I can see that. I can see that. I can see that for sure. So again, let's just reference some of these things. I'll go through a quick, very, very quick reference on a rating system for the players that got to play for this game. I'm going to pull up that right this minute, because I think that it was a game that I'm grading on a curve. A game again that I didn't think there was any incredible performances by anyone or anyone, whether either side of the bill. I thought that there were some good performances, if not like whether it was VVD or whether it was here, I'll just pull it up here, by the way. I have it on my phone. Whether it was VVD or not. So some of the references I wanted to make is that I had Allison as a 7. Again, this is how I rate, just so you know. I know I'm down to a few people still holding in tight because we're coming on the 90th minute. We're only going to do a couple minutes overtime. With the 90th minute coming in here, I'm just going to say that for me, a average game is a 7. Okay, I know some people might have it as a 5. An average game for me is a 7. I'm referencing that as a 7. A 7 is a 70 if you're rating it as a grade. Shout out to my French teacher, who gave me a 75, I think, or 77 as my grade. I was a C student in French, so it is what it is. I'll put that out there. But all the same, all the same, it was, I needed to go to French table more often. I didn't, but all the same, it was a C or a 70 or a 7 is a C average, or a C, which is average for me when I make these ratings. So keep that in mind when I do say that. I know that's what I get. I know the board went up and it says I have 9 minutes. So I have 9 minutes to get through this. That is so true. That is so true, Pops. And I'm going to do it. So that's what I want to make sure that you understand when I say a 7, that's an average performance. If I said a 6, that's a D performance, which is a little bit below average. An E performance is a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's obviously failing. Okay. So when it comes to Alisson, I had him at a 7. I think he didn't have to really do much in this game. He had one save. That was if you missed the first minute, you missed the goal. I missed their only goal scoring opportunity. So he didn't have much to do. Got a clean sheet. Give him props for that. However, I still want to say that one save, not much work, not many. He had one goal, one save, one shot on net. Apparently, it's a C. It could be an NA, but considering he got the clean sheet and one save, I'll give him a 7. When it comes to Trent, I'm giving Trent a 7. I'm giving Ibu a 6. I would have given Ibu a 7, but I'm giving him a 6 because I think it was stupid for him to put himself in into the mercy of the referee, and to even make this talking point, which I think was a poor talking point. So I gave him a 6. I gave Virgil I want to give Virgil an 8, if not a 9. I'm grading on a curve. If I gave on a curve, I would have gave him a 9 because I thought he played exceptionally well. Solid performance. There's a couple of times he covered for Konate. A couple of times that he won some important aerial duels. And there was even a couple of times, it was once or twice that he actually even recovered the ball and dribbled it outside the box to create a clearance or an actual counterattack for us. So I would have given him an 8, if not a 9. But for grade on a curve, I guess we could say an 8 is technically pretty much like an A in essence. But let's give him an 8. I'm going to make sure that my ratings are a little bit more grounded this time. I gave Simicast a 6. I didn't think that Simicast had that many great opportunities. He had 3 challenges that could have been one of 3 that could have been possibly marked as a cardable offense. But I still think that he played tough. He's aggressive with his tackles. I think he's going to continue to evolve into a player for us that's going to be able to contribute for us. Give him time, people. You're going to see the advantages of having him in the lineup. Let's just go as far as that saying. And let's see. Let me bring this over here. And let's see. I had Dom getting a 7 or closer to an 8. Let's call it an 8. I thought Dom was aggressive with his shots. I thought that he was looking to get on the score sheet. He understood the fact that most of the time our best opportunities were going to be coming outside the box. I think that he's arguably our best scoring opportunist from outside the box. So therefore, I wasn't really maligned in seeing him take on his opportunities. He had one shot inside the box. I thought he should have done better. He kind of got mixed up in his approach and thinking whether he should chip it or whether he should just like blast it. And he chose kind of like in between and ended up going like end up being a poor finish. But all the same, I thought he played well. I give him an 8. If I'm going to give him an 8, let me say I'm going to then have to give Virgil a 9. Okay. I thought McAllister had a 7 performance. I thought that what saved McAllister from a borderline 7 to a modest 7, a definite a solid 7, was the fact that he created the pass to Nunez that created the break, which was a great pass. Tell you the truth, if you watch it over, it was a great kind of like angled, like just found Nunez on stride. Great pass by him that created that break and created the set up the opportunity for Nunez to give Salah the basic, sitter to put into the back of the net. Thought that was great. So I give McAllister a 7. I'm going to give Gravenberch if I'm going to give Dom an 8, I'm going to have to, and I gave Virgil a 9. I'm going to have to give Gravenberch an 8. I thought Gravenberch played well. I thought that he had an opportunity he should have put in the back of the net. I thought that Gravenberch was aggressive, well placed on the ball. I see the 90th minute coming up. I see the final time coming up. I thought he was well done, well played. I give him an 8. I give Salah. Okay, I'm going to hold off on Salah. I'm going to give Yata I give him a solid 7. I thought he played very well. I didn't think he played exceptionally well, but he had a great chance. Obviously, the shot that I mentioned about Pops thinking, playing spoiler for us, that I thought was going to be a goal, but he had a great opportunity there. He had another opportunity to score, but it was just a little bit behind him that he couldn't get his foot onto the ball. And I thought that he did some really good work on trying to create and trying to make some opportunities for us. Solid 7 performance. I wouldn't go 8. I'd go 7 for him. I'd go for man of the match. Obviously, I got Diaz doing 9 for all the reasons I mentioned earlier. Not going to go super into it, but I thought that he performed well. Grading on the curve, people. Count that in. Grading on the curve. That's why I'm giving a 9. It would have normally, this is like an 8 performance. You would have knocked out, I'm giving a +1 to everyone's performances, okay? And then for Salah, I would say Salah was certainly a very, very maligned performance. I thought that Mikalenko really had him done in with his performance. I think he played well. I think he showed a lot of deference in shutting down Mo, not allowing for him to take dribbles and try to approach the box, not being able to progress and getting it to his left foot. There was a shot that Mo had that could have easily been a goal, but again, there were so many people in the box, and I think it was Tarkowski that threw himself in front of the attempt that Mo had. That ended up being a block shot for Mo. And then other than that, I got to give props to him. So I'm going to give him a 7, whereas he probably would have had a 6, if not a 5, honestly. But I'm going to go 7, borderline 7, because he performed when he needed him to perform, and that is he presented himself as a great opportunist for Nunez to not. Nunez could have been selfish and taken on by pushing to his left foot and trying to get a strike off and beat the player and try to get a strike off against that. But Salah presented a great channel for him, and Nunez with a great delivery, and Nunez with an absolute easy goal with the left foot. So you got to give him props for that. You got to give him props for stepping up and scoring. I know a lot of us are very, suspect when it comes to Salah taking penalty kicks from our past experiences, but I think that Salah hopefully is pushing past that. All right, coming up on the 9th minute, on the final minute here, and with the real quick, I thought 7 out of Harvey Elliott. Great shot on goal, energy. Came in as a super sub, but he's been doing consistently. I gave him a 7. I gave Nunez a solid 7 performance. If he had longer to do, I thought Elliott and Nunez would have been a solid 8, but I'm giving them a solid 7, not a borderline, a solid 7. If not, that means pushing towards an 8. And I would have given Matip, again, a solid 7. Came in, calm, collected, had no opportunity, gave no assurances or no credence of saying that we looked suspect, or that, if anything, I would have said he looked like he should have started, to be honest with you. That's how well a performance he had. And for Gomez, I want to give Gomez an NA, but all the same, I'm going to rate him. So I'm going to give him a borderline 7. Had really not much to do, but all the same, came in for Lucho to perform at that left back position once we got the 1-0 win. And it is what it is, people. So I'm at my 90th minute. I'm already going past. I'm already into extra time. Look, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. And again, I know the ratings. Again, as long as you have an idea or a reference points as to why I'm giving the ratings, and also why the ratings could seem high, if not like a little bit high. I'm great on the curve, and also because I think that when it comes to it, to me, 7 is an average performance. 7 is a performance that you should give a 7 performance. It's the same thing we said about Milner. You know, he gives 7 out of 10 performances. You know, that's Milner would give an average, if not a bit above average performance every time he pretty much stepped on the pitch. Unfortunately, not against City yesterday, or City, or not unfortunately against City on Saturday. But you know, he never lost a place on our team. Big up to Milner. Hope you will. So again, let's see. Beijing Pop's last couple of statements. Big up 12. See you in about 4 hours for our review. Exactly. Beijing Pops LFC on Beijing Reds TV. Hopefully, maybe I might even get like maybe they'll give me a little bit of a cameo to go up against Beijing Barnes. I know Beijing Barnes is very critical of my man behind here on what is looking like my right shoulder, but is my left shoulder. You know, hopefully that I get an opportunity to give a little bit of a say. But big up, even if I don't, all the same, you'll see me in the comments. You'll see me in the chats, I'm sure. So big up to Beijing Paz LC and Beijing Reds TV. Big up to Philly Liverpool FC. Big up to Brian Morrissey. Big up to Marion Southward, of course. Big up to one of our mighty Red Queens. You know, big up to Nuante, definitely one of our generals in the mighty Red Army here. Big up to Psychedelic Shaolin, another, you know, one of our agents of chaos. You know, Psychedelic Shaolin, our monk. And also want to give a shout out to Richard as well. Big up to Richard, showing love, giving out some shouts out in the chat. Who else did I miss anyone? I think I got everyone at least commented. And those, and then even those of you that, you know, just kind of were along for the ride and just chilling, just enjoying the commentary. Big up again, big up to my East Coast brethren. Yeah, big up to everyone. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Appreciate you guys leaving a like. Appreciate you guys sharing this to your friends, your family, to your rivals, to our rivals, to, you know, your nemesises, to your dogs, your cats, your dogs. I mean, your fish, your whatever it is. You know, let's get these numbers up. I definitely want to see them break into the thousands and on to the hundreds of thousands, because I really would like to be a different type of voice out there for us. I know it takes commitment. I know it takes repetition. I'm doing the best I can to get content out there consistently for you, giving definitely what some might say is a Liverpool slanted take, but I'm also looking at it from as level-headed and as balanced of a take as I can, you know, because I certainly want to give our proper due to our Reds. So big up to all of you that support me. Big up to all of you that support our club. Big up to you that all take care and support each other, because that's the most important thing. If we can show anything to some of our neutrals and our rivals that might be joining us today, welcome and welcome to you as well. But if anything, let's take care of yourself, but also let's take care of each other and continue to walk on. And I appreciate each and every one of you. So let's just say, and here's a little shout out to Beijing Pops as well. Let me give a quick shout out. Let's just say, until then, let's all continue to understand. Let's walk on together. And I bid you adieu. So I'm gonna give a quick two little snips of an outro real quick. And with that, as the football romantic, I'm going to bid you guys adieu. Appreciate each and every one of you. See you soon. It'll probably tomorrow. I'll have a show for Tuesday. I'll have one for Wednesday as well. The previews. It'll always be in that lucky 7 hour for UK time. That lucky 7 hour window. It'll be at some time. If you see it 7, look for the Liverpool 12th man. All right. And until then, I bid you adieu.